Hi, my name is Liezl. I'm really excited today to share with you a little bit more about the 3-week Yin Yoga Immersion that we will be hosting on the Frog Project. So I really love Yin Yoga. For me, it's one of my favorite styles of practice. And the reason for that being is that I find it to be such an amazing antidote to the busyness of my mind. I'm very prone to anxious thinking and worrying and being everywhere except the present. And for me, Yin Yoga has been amazing in how it offers grounding in the body in the moment, because you have all these sensations keeping you anchored, but at the same time allowing the magical qualities that you get from meditation. Because of this beautiful combination that Yin Yoga offers, I have found it to be super healing during challenging times in my life, when I've experienced loss, when I've experienced big changes that tend to bring up a lot of emotion. And I think a lot of us can relate to that, especially after the last 18 months we've had with the pandemic. In having this need to create a space where you can really take care of everything that you're feeling and creating a little bit of breathing room to let everything go. So because of this, we want to offer this 3-week Yin immersion, and we're calling it immersion because it's more than a training. It's an opportunity for you to really benefit from the practice. So it's not all just theory. There's a lot of practice so that you can really tap into what the practice means for you, and combining that with all the things that you really need to know to make sure that you can practice safely. So we'll be teaching or sharing all the different postures of Yin Yoga, as well as how long to hold them in a safe way. And then as well, we'll be really looking at how to approach these postures, because there are some internal mental, emotional approaches that are more conducive to healing than others. So we'll be looking at how to practice Yin Yoga, not just the poses, but internally. What do I do when I'm sitting there quiet by myself for a few minutes? On top of this, we'll also explore the science behind Yin Yoga. It's such an important understanding to keep the body safe. Like, what happens to my joints and to my muscles and to my bones while I'm doing this practice? And how do I know when enough is enough? And how do I know there's still room for me to explore further? And then the final thing we'll cover in this training is also the Taoist roots of the practice. Yin Yoga has a lot of its background and thought coming from Taoism, and especially in the context of traditional Chinese medicine. So we'll be exploring the different elements of Chinese medicine, the meridians that go with that, and how can you use all of this information to find more harmony, not just in the physical body, but also perhaps in your life and in your mind in general. So this training is really good for anyone who wants to learn about Yin Yoga. If you're new to the practice, if you don't have a lot of experience yet, you're definitely going to get a lot out of this. If you have practiced Yin Yoga before and you've been curious to know more or to understand how it really works, like how does that magic happen, this training is also great for that, as it's almost like a lifting of the curtain or the veil. And in particular, I find that Yin Yoga is a beautiful way for people who have physical injuries or perhaps health conditions as to start a practice. Especially with injuries, there are some considerations, and we will deal with that during the class. So when to avoid certain poses based on what your body needs. But even if there's one or two poses that perhaps don't work for you, there's so many others that do, And Yin Yoga is really great especially if you struggle with vinyasa or some of the stronger practices of yoga. So this is a way to get to like that magical calm space without needing to go through all the vinyasas. And then lastly, if you are a yoga teacher who wants to teach Yin Yoga or wants to offer Yin Yoga classes, this immersion will be suitable for you as well. So we've structured it so that we'll first go really deep into the experience of Yin Yoga, like embodying it, understanding it, feeling it. And then at the end, for those of you who would like a teaching certificate for continuous education hours, we'll have a separate weekend where we dive into some of the intricacies of teaching Yin Yoga and teaching it safely, based on that very solid foundation of really having experienced the practice already. So if you would like to know more about this training, feel free to check it out on the Frog Project website. Looking forward to having you and sharing this magical practice with you, and wishing you a beautiful rest of the day.